So if we move on to phase 12, this was where we played around a little bit with interrogating the relationship between the authors of the posts and what kinds of posts they tended to make. So what we did, and you'll see this reflected in the documents, is that we captured the status of the members: advanced member, a counselor, a guest to the forum, a new visitor, an advanced member. So we created codes for this. And as I mentioned before, those were in red. We applied those to the data, created a code group, and then we tried a co-occurrence table to see if maybe, for example, counselors were engaging in a different kind of discourse with the people who were grieving than guests or new members did. So in ATLAS.ti, you would do that by under Analyze, going to a co-occurrence table. You could check the different reply posts that you're interested in looking at, and then do a co-occurrence of reply type by status of the poster. And while sometimes this can give you some insights, it didn't really tell us very much, so we did not pursue that line of inquiry any further. So if we go down to phase 12B, and I'm just going to close out of the co-occurrence table here and close some of these tabs. Phase 12B, prioritize the discursive features evident in the patterns. So now we were curious to see, of all the codes, which ones were occurring more frequently. So we sorted codes by groundedness. And actually, I'm going to filter to look just at the reply codes. And I can do that by clicking on the code group here. And extend sympathy was used most frequently, followed by encouraging people to come back. We saw that a lot, where people would say, "I'm so sorry for your loss," by extending sympathy, and then say, "Please come back again." And down here in the comment, you can see that there was some merging of comments from the different codes we had used originally, and then combined them because maybe we had used different codes that meant the same thing and we needed to merge those later. We noticed that people often told second stories. "Oh, my grief and my experience of loss is quite similar to your experience of loss." So we captured that. So we would go through the data and just double check and read through those by double clicking and clicking through the data. And then we would condense those 11 discursive features into a 3-part pattern of the posts to report in the finding. And that is really in the findings of the paper, and that is really something that's done outside of ATLAS.ti. That's more of a holistic way of looking deeply at a few examples of quotations and really writing that up, the interpretation, outside of the software, although you could also do it in a memo. So similar to the first project file, we did pull up the quotations and again sort the quotations by density to see which ones had the most codes at this point. And then we could run a report of those and look at those more closely and start to write up the overall pattern that we were noticing. Just as a little note about discourse analysis, the variability is important because language features tend to do different things in different contexts, and so it was really important for us to capture variability in how the language tended to function in these forums. So that takes us through phase 12. And that is all that I wanted to show you with these projects.